What do you like most about this kind of work, and what do you find most challenging about like this type of work? Is because I know that time is an issue, but let's just go with the first one. Like, what do you like most about this type of mind performance training?
What I like most about it is that one is very challenging. And I think anybody who's super competitive is always up for a challenge. So for one, I love that it's challenging you every single time. And every time you do a different exercise, no matter if it's the same one, it's still very challenging. And it never gets old for one. Um, and next thing is just that the mental part, right? Because you always hear about, CTE, all these different brain injuries that athletes get. But you're building a defense by building up your brain by doing these different techniques each and every day you do them. So I love that part about it as well, and I think just the overall knowing that I'm being better as a person, getting better as a person, in my well-being from when it comes to my mental standpoint, because that's not something that you know us young adults or athletes we get that every single day. Most of this is always just go 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 go, right? And then you don't really know how to handle this situation and that situation. So Piiva definitely has helped me overall just being a better person.
Fantastic. How would you describe this type of work to a friend? How would you describe Piva and mind performance training to somebody who doesn't know anything about it?
That's a good question. I would explain it to them or try to present it to them as in it's like working out. That's the best way I can that's like the first thing that comes to me,
Mm.
right? Because everyone almost in the world works out, right? And that's like almost anybody can do that. And anybody can do this. Like it doesn't matter how tall you are, how much you weigh, like anybody can do these trainings. And only thing it takes is this one thing up here. So I would explain it as kind of being like lifting weights, training, and things like that. You're investing in your body now, just instead of investing in biceps or abs, you're you're investing in all the different muscles, and there's so many muscles inside, our brains and everything like that. And that's what you're really investing in, and that's what you use every single day, right? And if without these things up here, none of this stuff works. So if you can invest up here, you can make everything else so much better.
Curious, we talked about it, but what was it that got you into the idea of thinking of doing mind performance training? Like, what was the first thing that got you thinking about doing more of this type of work?
I mean, I've always kind of done it, just playing ball and, kind of just, talk to yourself, tell yourself kind of what you envision yourself doing, kind of what you want to do, what you're hoping for out of the game and things like that. And then, when you guys were brought to me and I got a chance to learn about it in our introduction meeting and things like that, I was like, well, this is pretty much what I've been doing, just in a way more professional, enhanced way. And I think like when I learned so many different things in our introduction meeting um, from like what parts of the brain is being engaged, and all these other things, then I'm like, okay, if I can get 1% better in these categories, over time, being 1% better in those small categories, which a lot of people aren't doing when it comes to their mental part of things, I'm getting the advantage somehow, some way. And I think that's kind of what you want to get out of something like this.
And then when you got into it and you got into like starting to use the app, there's a bunch of different techniques. How did you find it? Because you're learning these different meditations and visualizations. What did you find it easy, challenging as you started getting going?
I wouldn't say easy, I wouldn't say challenging, but right in the middle. Um, from how it's laid out. For one, it's laid out really good, and it breaks down everything for you. Super easy to use. It's not like super techy, and things like that. But when I started using the techniques and things like that, um, it was different because it was challenging me different ways when it came to my brain and my mental versus always being able to be trained physically.
So how have you seen Piiva starting to improve things like practice for you? Because it's a big part of a player's game, is a lot of the time it's practice. So how have you seen Piiva show up in practice?
It's definitely shown up in practice for me from, things just being slowed down, because practice is always harder than the game, which a lot of people don't understand. Like, they make practice so much harder. You go so much harder in practice. So when practice is being slowed down in my mind, I'm being able to execute plays at a higher level or run a route to precision and things like that.
And how about visualization? Because that's a big part of, going through repetitions. How have you found your visualization has advanced, and how do you use it now for game prep or practice prep?
Yeah, visualization is definitely enhanced. I mean, as a running back, that's like one of the biggest things for a running back. It's definitely the biggest thing for a running back. No matter else how fast you are, big you are, if you don't have vision, you can't even make those things show up. So it's allowed me to, like I said, slowing things down, kind of just understanding more blocking schemes, right? Because versus college, you run certain plays, but they don't always teach you the blocking schemes. Right now, I'm being able to take the information I'm getting, go to the practice field, put it out there. My vision is allowing me to be able to see exactly what I'm being taught in the rooms and bring it out there. I'm supposed to run behind a double team block, knowing exactly where that double team block is supposed to go and being able to be locked in, and go out there and execute that. Even if I'm running a route and it's, as a running back, you don't really learn a lot about zone and man coverage as if I was a receiver, but from the small parts of the zone and man that we are taught when we run our few routes, I'm looking and I can easily kind of now dissect exactly what I'm getting a lot faster, making myself available to the quarterback for check downs if I need to sit this rep down because it's zone, or if I need to break this one out and knowing exactly which way to break it out.
So visualization is one thing. Another part is that builds on that is building your awareness. So how are you now finding meditation as compared to when you first started into the meditation and doing longer meditations and more advanced ones?
Yeah, I mean, versus when I first started, that was definitely challenging. Just trying to be just be in that moment for so long. Even 5 minutes when I first started was kind of long, because our generation is always about having something in front of your face. If it's your phone, video game, whatever it is, or being outside, being sociable, things like that. So when I first started, it was super tough because I was like, man, I'm closing my eyes, I'm being in this spot, in this space right now, and it feels so weird because you're almost thinking about, I wonder what's on TV. I wonder what I'll be doing right now. You know what I mean? But as the time has gone on, it's became a lot more easier to go and do those things if it's now 15, 20 minutes, 25 minutes, because I understand that I'm investing in myself, right? It's just like if you go work out, right? You say, it's a 45-minute workout, but you're investing in your body.
Yeah.
So I take the same approach as like, okay, this is 20 minutes. I'm investing in my mind for what I do, my job, and then just my well-being overall.
When you started the breath work, you were surprised by how kind of challenging it was for something that we do all the time.
Yeah.
Do you want to talk about like what that experience was for you, like when you first started into the different breath work?
Yeah. When I first started, it was definitely challenging, because you have to hold your breath for X amount of time. And that was tough for me because you don't do that every day. You just don't do that, right? So that was challenging for me just because, like I said, like you don't do it every day. So kind of just, like I said, again, just challenging yourself, pushing yourself to new things and new heights. You kind of open your body up to being more comfortable doing these things as well, right? Putting yourself in an uncomfortable spot, allowing yourself to grow pretty much.
How about the biofeedback? Because that's another type of training where you're learning to actually calm your nervous system voluntarily, right?
Yeah,
So how was that, and how long did until you started to feel comfortable and actually get used to actually doing it?
I love the biofeedback. I think just because it allows you to really, it allows you to give yourself a chance to learn how to calm your body, really just come into that perfect spot, right? Like it gives you the opportunity, it gives you feedback for one, obviously. And for me, that's big because I think sometimes if you like, an example, if you get mad, right, you can use the biofeedback technique to really kind of just calm down a little bit, bring
Yeah.
yourself down. If you're stressed out about something, another great technique and a different way to use it. It took me maybe 3 times, maybe 2 or 3 times to really get it. And I'm super competitive, obviously. So if I heard like a small little squeak, I'm like, okay, we didn't get it, right? So like me being super competitive, I made it a little bit harder on myself as well.
Yeah.
But like I said, though, I loved it just because it allows you to really come to your inner peace, essentially.
Last technique to talk about. What did you think about when compassion training when you first heard about it, and then when you got into it?
I think I said this before to you. Compassion training for me was really cool. Because like I said, like I'm not big on people giving me compliments for one, right? Because I'm like what can I do for you type of person, right? I always try to, you know, give out more than I receive in a sense. So for me, it was really cool because I got a chance to, think about people who I probably haven't thought about in a long time who helped me get to this position I'm in right now in life. Outside your immediate family, like friends, teachers, old coaches, even just going back to times where you learned a certain skill or you learned something that
Yeah.
helps still to this day when you were younger and things like that. So it was really cool because kind of gave me a chance to just kind of do, uh, rewind things and really just kind of just be more, or I guess like more grateful, more humble.
What do you find challenging, or is there nothing challenging? And I mean by challenging, things like is the time that it is needed to find to figure it out into your schedule. Is that challenging? Or was it because it kept you interested that wasn't as hard a thing for you?
No, it wasn't a hard thing for me when it comes to the
Mhm.
time. And it's not it's not like you're doing, 4 hours, 5 hours a day or in a week. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's really easy to fit into your schedule. You can do it. I've done it at our facility. I've done
Yeah.
it if I'm, on a plane or, anytime when you just kind of have a downtime, you can do, it's things on there. You can do 5 minutes, 10 minutes, you know what I mean? It doesn't take you a long amount of time and you can get right back to your regular life. So the time wasn't a thing for me. I think that's really easy, especially if, like you said, if you're interested in something, if you want to get better at something, you're gonna find time to do something about it.
That I love. No excuses, because it's true. It's right there for you.
Right?
And if you really want what you say you're going to be going after, this is it. It's right there for you.
Yeah. If you want to be great, I think these trainings really test you to see how great you really want to be, right?
Mhm.
Because you can be great in sports all you want, but it's also a chance to be great in a different uh, arena, pretty much, and that's the arena of taking care of your mental.
Would you recommend Piiva to a friend, and why?
I definitely would. I think a lot of my friends, for one, growing up where I grew up, we don't get this, right? You don't think about meditation. You don't think about a lot of these things that are real life situations, where I grew up at, we don't really think about those type of things.
Yeah.
So if I can help, if from what I've seen, what it's done to me so far and just being in it a few months, right? Imagine being in it for a year or two, right? And like I said, 1% better. If I can allow someone else that's close to me, a friend or whatever it is, or just putting it on social media and promoting it and touching someone else, right? It's getting them 1% better. if they really want to invest in it. And, you know, that's the biggest thing, is like, whatever you can do to help someone. And if this is something I can do to help someone, to help them, you know, hopefully get to their full potential, then you definitely want to do that.
Hey, Zach, very much appreciate your time on this stuff. It's been awesome, a real pleasure working with you. Love the work we get to do, and I look forward to the next levels.
Yes, sir. Absolutely, man. Thank you.